The HORMUZ toll. Iran charges $2 million per tanker and rewrites the rules of the game.
The Strait of Hormuz has always been the world's energy bottleneck, but since February 28th, it has a new owner. Less than a month after Trump promised to destroy Iran in 4 days and forcibly reopen the strait, the opposite happened. Iran not only resisted, but won, and more, it institutionalized the victory. From now on, anyone who wants to pass through the strait pays $2 million per tanker, in cash or cryptocurrency, and the payment is converted into yuan, the Chinese currency. The empire that promised to open the strait saw the strait closed to its ships and transformed into a source of revenue for the enemy. Let's understand this geo-economic revolution. The system is already operational and on its way to becoming law in Iran, and the engineering is brilliant. First, the tanker owner sends the data to a broker accredited by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. It can be in Iran or any Islamic country. Second, the Guard analyzes it. If the ship is from the United States, Israel, or hostile allies, it is blocked. If it is from non-belligerent countries, China, India, Bangladesh, Thailand, it is approved. Third, approved, it is time to pay. A fixed $2 million per tanker. Payment in cash or, more often, in cryptocurrencies via the Tron blockchain. The transaction takes about 3 seconds. With the receipt in hand, the tanker receives authorization to sail through a specific channel, only 8 kilometers wide, between the Iranian islands of Kashm and Lorak. Why is this revolutionary? Pepe Escobar, the analyst who revealed the information, summarizes it in 4 points. First, the petro-yuan becomes a reality. Payment in cryptocurrency converted to yuan establishes an alternative system at the most important choke point on the planet. As Escobar says, it is something that a zillion BRICS summits could not achieve. Iran did it alone. Second, the privatization of the strait. Iran is doing what Egypt does with the Suez Canal, charging for the use of a strategic waterway in its territory. The difference is that Egypt has an international treaty. Iran is establishing this by its own right, backed by military force. Third, the war revenue. With dozens of tankers crossing daily, the toll becomes a billion-dollar source that finances Iran's defense. Fourth, the denial to enemies. Tankers destined for or originating from the United States and Israel simply do not pass. The blockade that Washington tried to impose on Iran now turns against its own interests. At this very moment, however, the tankers have stopped. No ships are crossing the strait. The reason, according to Escobar, is that everyone expects an imminent escalation. Rumors of a U.S. ground invasion of Lorak Island, the islet that guards the 8-kilometer channel, have been circulating in recent days. The Pentagon denies it, but Iranian forces are on maximum alert. And the Revolutionary Guard controls not only the territorial waters where the tankers sail, but the entire perimeter from the Persian Gulf to the Sea of Oman. Any attempt at a landing will be met with everything Iran still has in reserve, and it is not little. As Iran consolidates its control, one of the most dangerous developments of the week was the position of the United Arab Emirates. The UAE ambassador to the United States published an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, signaling that his country is ready to enter the war alongside the Americans. The motivation, according to Escobar, is not ideological. It is economic. The UAE signed $1.4 trillion in agreements with the U.S. in artificial intelligence, semiconductors, but its economy is collapsing. Dubai, as a business model, is finished. The port of Jebel Ali is paralyzed. The Iranian response was immediate and devastating. Iran published a list of 5 mega-targets that will be hit if the UAE enters the war. Power plants, desalination plants, data centers, ports, and airports. In other words, if the UAE enters, its economy ceases to exist. Pepe Escobar summarizes the Iranian strategy in 3 objectives, all already achieved. Establish deterrence capability. No country in the world has faced the American war machine for a month and emerged stronger. Iran did.
Second, expel the United States from the Persian Gulf. More than 90% of U.S. military infrastructure in the region has been destroyed. The remaining bases are easy targets. Third, establish deterrence regarding Israel. Completed in 3 weeks. Israel is in total disarray. Its air defenses are exhausted. Its cities are hit daily. Its army is on the verge of collapse. All of this was achieved, as Escobar says, by Iran alone, a nation under 47 years of cruel sanctions, with degraded infrastructure, but with a hidden military-industrial complex that is terrorizing the United States and Israel.
And at the center of this hurricane is Donald Trump, who, according to Escobar, is already bored with the war he started himself. U.S. officials told the mainstream press that Trump wants the war to end so he can move on. It is the proverbial theater of the absurd. Ultimatums that expire without consequence, threats that turn into retreats, announcements of very good talks that Iran publicly denies. Last week, Trump gave Iran 48 hours to open the strait. When the deadline expired, he postponed it for another 5 days.
Now, what holds Trump back, according to Escobar, is the bond market. The yield on 10-year U.S. Treasury bonds reached 5%, a level that signals loss of confidence in the United States' ability to service its $40 trillion debt.
Escobar observes, "It is fascinating. The bond market may, in the end, save us from a greater catastrophe, and not the oil market." Trump promised a 4-day war. We have entered the 4th week. Trump promised to destroy Iran. He saw his bases destroyed one by one, his billion-dollar surveillance systems swept off the map. Trump promised to open the Strait of HORMUZ. Now he sees Iran institute a $2 million toll per tanker and charge in yuan. The empire that went to war with bravado now watches, bored and impotent, the implosion of its own system. Meanwhile, the tankers wait. They wait for the storm to pass, or they wait to pay the $2 million and continue on their way. Because in this new world, you do not pass through Hormuz without leaving a tribute, and the tribute is no longer in dollars. What do you think of this revolution in the Strait of Hormuz? Will the United States accept it, or will it attempt a desperate invasion? Leave your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to follow the channel. Leave your like. See you next time.